Hello! I know it's been forever. I've been going through some hard times, but there's more coasters that need reviewing, so without any further ado, let's review. I'm gonna rank every coaster and give them a review. Every drop and every hill, every launch and every loop. Rate it 1 to 10 and then we'll do it all again. Gonna rank and review every coaster. What's going on, everybody? My name is Mario. This is a channel all about amusement park type stuff, but mostly coasters. And today in my never-ending journey to rank and review every single coaster I have ever been on, we're going to be talking about Batman the Ride clones. So for anyone not familiar, Batman is a specific model of inverted coaster manufactured by B&M. There are more than 10 of these rides still operating around the world, half of which I've been on, and most of which reside at Six Flags parks in North America. In the US, Batman clones are definitely a bit oversaturated. The most exaggerated example of this is in San Antonio, where a pair resides just 11 miles apart. Yes, really. However, the mass cloning of this coaster is definitely justified in my opinion, as it's a huge hit, at least amongst enjoyers of intense and forceful experiences. Although it's definitely not too popular amongst anyone else. And speaking of intensity, that is definitely this coaster's defining characteristic. At the risk of sounding a bit crass, from start to finish, these coasters feel like they are trying to absolutely rip your legs off. The extended periods of positive G-forces pull your entire body downward, and the rapid inversions and changes in direction can leave anyone feeling sufficiently disoriented. If I am specifically in the mood for a ridiculously intense, fast-paced, completely balls-to-the-walls roller coaster, then Batman clones are an absolute blast. But unfortunately, these coasters can be a bit uncomfortable. With super whippy transitions and bulky over-the-shoulder restraints comes the likely possibility for hitting your head or neck. Now, luckily, this is not much of an issue for me, but I know it is for a lot of shorter or less experienced coaster riders. In addition to that, those positive G-forces pull the blood out of your head and down into your feet. This can definitely leave you feeling a little faint or dizzy, and it always leaves my feet feeling tingly by the end of the ride. So, at least for me, the intensity is definitely impressive, but it is a double-edged sword. Now, before we get too in-depth, let's take a quick look at the stats for these coasters, some of which vary the slightest bit from coaster to coaster, but here's the near-identical stats for them. You have a relatively modest height of 105 feet, a top speed of 50 miles per hour, a total of 5 inversions, a track length of 2,700 feet, and a ride duration of 39 seconds, making this one of those small but mighty coasters. But now let's finally hop on the coaster and look at the on-ride experience. Your ride starts off by heading straight out of the station into your lift hill, and after reaching the top, you'll go down the abrupt 180-degree turning drop. This drop is half decent in the front row, but gets progressively more forceful and whippier towards the back. In addition to getting flung side to side, you do get a decent floating sensation as well. The valley of that first drop provides immense positive G-forces, which are carried all the way through your first inversion, which is a vertical loop. You then hit what is one of the best inversions on any coaster in my opinion, the incredibly fast-paced zero-G roll. I mean, you absolutely fly through this element. Not only does this element provide intense lateral G-forces as you're flipped 360 degrees upside down, but you'll also experience weightlessness. And by the time you're done with the first two elements, you're sure to already feel quite disoriented. And just for good measure, right after the zero-G roll, there is a second vertical loop, providing positive G-forces just as strong as the first. That's then followed by a 270-degree upward helix that still maintains those positive G-forces from the prior elements. After that, you'll experience a turnaround, which is the sole moment of the ride you will get half a second to catch your breath, before picking up your speed and heading into an absolutely vicious corkscrew. By the time you hit the turnaround that follows the corkscrew, those forces will have pushed all the blood out of your head back into your feet by this point. You then dip even further in elevation, heading below ground level in most cases, and you hit the ride's final inversion, another violent corkscrew. You then hit one final turn, rising slightly in elevation, that maintains all of those positive G-forces before aggressively whipping into the final brake run. And if you've never been on a Batman clone before, you will undoubtedly be gasping for air as you come to a stop. Like I was saying before, this ride is definitely not for the faint of heart, or faint of stomach for that matter. So, what would I rate this coaster? 7.5 out of 10. On a good day where I'm in the particular mood to ride a Batman clone, it's a definite 9 out of 10. However, on a worse day, if the coaster's running a little rough, maybe it's been a long day and I'm not up to the physical task of riding a Batman clone, it's more like a 5 or a 6 out of 10. And on top of that, I may be a little numb to the enjoyment of these due to the sheer number of times that I've ridden them. As far as where these coasters rank, out of the 272 coasters that I have been on so far, the 6 Batman clones that I've been on sit between 114 and 109. And real quick, I'll go through each individual coaster. At 114, we have Batman the Ride at Six Flags Over Texas, which is noticeably shakier than the others, and nothing about it was better. Batman the Ride at Six Flags Over Georgia is at 113, and I honestly don't remember this specific coaster that much at all, cause I rode it once 10 years ago. At 112 is Great White at SeaWorld San Antonio, and this coaster is pretty good overall. I really like the shark decals on the train, as well as the general appearance of the coaster, though it is a tad shaky, but nothing too bad. Vampire, whatever, at Ronde comes in at 111, and I also barely remember this one. I definitely don't remember any issues with it, and it has a very nice view of the water to the left of the lift. At 110 is Goliath at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. I do like the color scheme because of the ever disappointing Chargers. It survived Hurricane Katrina when it was at the now defunct Six Flags New Orleans, and I had absolutely no issues with it. And my personal favorite Batman clone at number 109 is Batman the Ride at Six Flags Magic Mountain. This coaster is definitely very consistently smooth and fast. I've ridden this one more than any of the others, and aside from personally not feeling up to riding Batman the Ride, it hasn't really provided a bad experience. I know it might seem like it ranks quite low, but it's still in the top 40-ish% of coasters that I've been on, and the coasters above it I can just enjoy more consistently. But thank you guys so much for watching and sticking through to the end. I greatly appreciate it. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Now that things are a little bit better for me, I am going to do my best to start posting more regularly again. And make sure to tune in next time where I'll be talking about... Woo!